Hi everybody, this is Jen Yaeger. I'm so happy that you found our series of online shorts excerpted from our new Foundations of Reading preparation course. This course has been 20 years in the making and now is revised to help you in the most efficient way possible prepare for, study, and pass the Foundations of Reading test. If you're interested to know more, please subscribe and like, and check out the discount in the comments below. Now, before you get started on the activity in your study guide and count sounds and words, I want to demonstrate this, but I also want to explain that this is hard for a lot of adults. It's not worth tons of your time, but you will probably get a couple questions on the test that ask you to associate the correct number of sounds with words. And as readers, this is hard for many of us because we can see the letters and we can imagine how many letters are in a word, and it's very hard to separate out the sound and letter at this point. So I'm going to show you how we would teach this with young children, and I'm going to then also show you some workarounds for how you can count the letters in a different way as an adult, as a test taker, but it's not the same as we do with children. So this is called an Elkonin box. It's honestly just a row of boxes. It's not fancy, but the term is official, Elkonin boxes. And you might have a young group of readers sitting around a table with you, and you would say, I'm going to say a word like cat. And we're going to tap and move for each sound we hear. And you would do it simultaneously. So you go, ah, and move the chip into the box. So that helps to hear it, to visually see it, and then actually do something physical to move the sound. And you can imagine if you were learning a new language yourself, some of those phonemes, some of those speech sounds are hard to really identify or tease out. So if you were doing something like this, it would help you to be able to separate and see those individual sounds. I'm going to do this with you on the slides, then you're going to practice in your study guides. Okay, we're going to start simply with cat. So the children would have a little physical, like bingo chip or a penny or something. And for each sound, they would move the chip into the box. They would not see the word, but I'm keeping it here for you. Ah, cat. 3 sounds. The next one is ship. And you'll see I gave you a little hint in this word. But ship has 3 sounds. And here's how it would go. Sh, I. 3 sounds. Because the S and the H is a digraph. You'll hear all about this in the phonics section. And it makes 1 sound. The next one is slid. S, O, I, D. 4 sounds. The next one, slide. S, O, I, D. 4 sounds. Now, there's probably a couple questions you have about this. In both slid and slide, the S and the L are together as a team, but they each retain their own sounds. So even though they're together, the sound is kind of smushed together. If you're to record me and play me back in slow motion, you would still hear the sol, I, d. You would, of course, not hear the silent E. So s, o, I, d. And then one more. Just want to introduce you to the idea that there's some sounds that have like a 3-letter combination that make the sound. So in the word match, it's actually only 3 sounds. The TCH makes 1 sound. So you wouldn't have 4 boxes. Now, practically speaking, when we do this with children, we might first count the sounds together and then identify which of several different like Elkonin box sizes would you need. So you might say, 3 sounds. Let's get out the box with the 3 sounds. Now, before you try these in the study guide, let me show you one more example with my niece when we were working during the pandemic remotely, and I was moving the chips for her because we couldn't do that as you normally would in person, and she's blending the sounds. So I just want to give you one more real life example with children, and then we'll move on to the next stage where we think about phonemic awareness with upper elementary students.
The first word is this. S, ah, n. What's the word?
Sun.
Ooh, n. What's that word?
Moon.
Beautiful. Ready? One more. Here we go. Sh, E, P.
Sheep.
Yeah, you got it.
So now it's time to try this on your own in the study guide. You'll see a little list, try those, and then check your work on the next page. So hopefully you had a chance in your study guide to practice counting phonemes in words. So let's go over them. So of course, the first one is a little easier, kit, 3. It. Next one, bug, b, g. Next one, step. This is a little harder. A lot of us hear the ST together. It is a cluster, it is a team, but still the S sound S and the T sound T are still in that word. S, T, 4 sounds. Ship, the S and the H make a new sound. We don't say sah, we say sh, 3 sounds. Bless, b, ol, s, 4 sounds. So the SS makes 1 sound. But again, the B and the L is an example of a blend. We can still hear the B sound in there and the O, even if they're together, smushed together. So B, O, S. Scratch. This was a tough one. S, ch. The TCH is a trigraph. The TCH makes 1 new sound. You might think, well, do you kind of hear the T in there? You're not going to guess that. You're just going to know it. The TCH technically is a trigraph that makes the ch sound. We don't have a letter in the English language that represents ch, but we have a combination of letters. Sometimes it's just the CH, sometimes TCH. Now, in the case of SCR, we still technically hear each sound. So s, ch. And last, pledge. Another blend. You still technically hear each sound. The DGE, just like TCH, is a trigraph. So that's 4 sounds.